Frantic Nerdcast, hosted by AJ and Brock, talking about all the nerdy things that you want to hear about. Let's get into it.
Hello, friends. Welcome to episode number 21 of Frantic Nerdcast. I am AJ.
And I'm Brock.
And we again are working remotely for this episode. So if there's a little bit of a delay between our answers and questions or we talk over each other, that would be why.
And when we're back in the room with each other and we're talking over each other, it's because we're rude.
It's because we're pricks. So how you been, mate? How's the week been so far?
It's been good, man. Been chilling out at home with the little family bubble with the new little one, which has been awesome. Getting out and seeing some family and whatnot, which has been sweet. And just going along the roller coaster, which is awesome.
Yeah, doing all the fun things.
Exactly, all the fun things. Like, it's been awesome. I mean, everybody always says you can be as prepared as you want to be and you're not prepared, and that is just 100% the truth, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Having awesome fun going along the roller coaster and, just keeping on.
Excellent.
How about you, man?
It's work, life, all that fun stuff. Bit of hockey here, bit of, just nerd things, writing, all that fun stuff.
Yep. That's one thing I thought, like, in between Bub doing her things and whatnot, I thought I might have a little bit of time to do this and that, like so a bit more writing, bit more checking out certain things and the likes. No.
That's why you just don't go to bed, mate.
Oh, you find yourself like in between like feeds and changes and whatnot, you're just staring at her. It's literally it's all you do. You get sucked into that little wormhole of that, and time goes very, very quickly.
That's it.
One thing I will say is I have gotten through so much TV, so many movies, those types of things. Like, I've smashed through some stuff in the last couple of weeks. It's phenomenal. I mean, since last episode, I got through the other two Neon Genesis. So
nice.
I've watched one, 2, and 3 now. I've started number 4, but I didn't get too far in number 4. I've almost finished watching Dune. I watched the not Sonic. What's
Knuckles.
Yeah, Knuckles. Watch Knuckles, amongst other things. There was one that I watched. I'll throw out there real quickly. We did a quick one on the trailer for Cold Copy.
Yep.
It was a thriller where you had like that journalist who was
it was
going down a certain route with a kid and whatnot.
Pushing the boundaries kind of thing.
Yeah. It was. Don't watch it.
I wasn't going to, if you remember my comments from the trailer.
I do actually. It's not great. It's not great. It's actually as soon as we finished, because I watched it with Shan, what I said straight after was that it is far more of a drama trying to be a thriller.
Okay. Yep. So it's like it thinks it's something it's not.
Yeah, and it didn't hit well. Like, there were certain things within it where you're kind of like, oh yeah, that was pretty good. But I mean, there was no thriller-esque sort of on the edge of your seat. It was far more drama-driven, which is fine. But I mean, it just it didn't hit how I kind of wanted it to. And the twists that it had within it, I didn't mind the twist that went through. It ended up being far less focused on the kid than I expected as well. Like, it was focused on the kid to an extent. Like, he was required to create the next part of the story. Then the next part of the story where it sort of went to and ended, it was like, okay, fair enough, whatever. It didn't hit well. But anyway,
fair enough. Well, all right, let's get into the usual. Let's get some rumors out there.
Yeah, let's get them.
So I've still got some left from last week's. And I've got a couple of new ones. So the first one I've got is the new Thunderbolts set photos have possible Jeremy Renner Hawkeye appearances.
Ooh, I hadn't actually seen that. That's awesome.
Yeah. So
even if it's just a little bit here and there.
And Winter Soldier has a new look, apparently.
Ah, cool. Whatever.
Yep.
I mean, they pretty much get some form of new look in each one of their bloody things anyways. Dormammu will return in a different form in Doctor Strange 3. Claire's past will be explored in the movie, and Marvel Studios wants Sam Raimi as director. Filming will begin in 2025.
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. What do we got? Marvel Studios to start filming Midnight Suns immediately after wrapping up production of Blade.
Cool.
supposedly. Also, for those listening at home, it has just started raining at the Casada studio. So if you hear it, that's what it is.
And hopefully my shed room doesn't echo too much. We did insulate it and whatnot, so it should be pretty good. Bill Skarsgård has been confirmed as Pennywise in a prequel to the movies It.
Oh, that could be interesting. Because I don't think there's no book for the prequel of It, is there?
Not that I'm aware of. But I just seen that and I thought that was pretty sweet. And there was one other bit that I seen
because he's an
around
alien
the director
in the book. Isn't he? He's an alien in the book. I'm pretty sure.
Something along those lines.
Yeah.
I've seen a couple of
he's like
things
his
kicking
arch
around.
rival's a giant turtle.
I don't know that much of the lore.
Yeah.
But I mean, what I had seen is that there's a whole thing about Pennywise and Mary Poppins being the same entity or entity type.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. I've heard that before. Yeah,
and I chuckled at those pretty well. I'm like, you know what? I can get on board that.
If you've read the Gunslinger books, which is Stephen King as well, they actually connect all of Stephen King's worlds all together.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So that's fun. HBO Max announces the surprise original series Dune Prophecy. It will explore the darkest time of humanity's history in the Dune universe.
Yep.
Which sounds like it will be fantastic because I do love me some Dune.
A young Sherlock series is moving forward at Prime Video with Guy Ritchie set to direct. Hero Fiennes as Tiffin is set to star as a 19-year-old Sherlock.
Oh, I don't know how I feel about that because, I mean, I love Guy Ritchie. I'm happy to watch, but I wasn't a massive fan of The Gentleman, the series. The movie was so good, but I just feel like he doesn't smash series out well.
Yeah.
From the one time I've seen him do a series.
So he already needs redemption. Let's see if he gets it.
No, it wasn't a bad show. By any means, it was not a bad show. But the movie was just so much better. And it kind of, I felt like it didn't need to be a series.
Sure. I get you.
Kind of thing. Apocalypse. Marvel Studios reportedly in talks with Dwayne Johnson to play Apocalypse.
Really?
I 100% a fucking, like, there's no way in hell that would happen. And I don't kind of want it to happen.
I can see him being cast in the
there's
MCU.
Some lovely little pictures there.
Oh, the appearance isn't too bad, except it looks like fucking Mr. Freeze from Batman and Robin.
That's what I thought. It looks like Mr. Freeze. But that's the problem with that character. He's always going to look like a fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze.
Oh, yeah, 100%. I mean...
Or Ivan Ooze.
I think he'd be good in the Marvel Universe. I mean, DC is fallen over. I can't imagine him going back to that in any way, shape, or form.
I don't think they'd ever want him back.
That too. And I mean, there's a pretty big occurrence between MCU and the DC universe and how they sort of jump between this, that, and the other. So, I mean, it's not off the cards. I'd be happy to see him. Like, when he's in the right role, he hits right. He plays the same character, which is fine. A lot of people do it.
He plays Dwayne The Rock
I'd be happy
Johnson.
to see it. Sorry?
The only time he doesn't play the same character is when he's at WWE.
Exactly. Actor Sacha Baron Cohen has been cast as Skeletor,
yes.
in a new live-action Master of the Universe.
Yes, I did see this. And Nicholas Galantini has been cast as He-Man.
Right.
Yes.
I can see that.
So I can see it. Like, he's going to have to buff up like a motherfucker.
Oh, 100%.
But I've never seen anything that he's been in. I've seen this red, white, and blue, royal blue sort of thing on Netflix every now and then, but I've never actually seen who he is, kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Sandman cast. Adrian Lester has been cast as Destiny. So you might know him from Hustler if you've ever watched Hustler. He's really good in that. And then Esma Creed Miles has been cast as Delirium, who was Henna in the TV series Henna.
Yep.
And then Barry Sloane has been cast as the Prodigal, and he was in Revenge.
Oh, yeah.
He's
I
actually,
never watched that.
that's a great show. I highly recommend that. But yeah, so they're the 3 new Eternals for season 2 of Sandman.
Okay.
Which should be pretty good. 'Cause I feel like it's going to have a lot more to do with the Eternals than the first season because the comics have a lot more to do with the Eternals. So yeah, it should be good.
No, when I seen that, I definitely got that thought, or at least when I seen that they'd cast the 3, I thought that there'd be a bit more to it.
Secret Wars reportedly reviving 2 classic superheroes to lead the Avengers and coming to 2 major deaths.
Fair enough. Transformers / G.I. Joe crossover movie. Paramount Pictures is moving forward with a crossover film.
Yep.
With Chris Hemsworth being eyed for the key role in the project.
Oh.
Because he's got the thing where because he's Optimus Prime in Transformers 1.
Yes.
So it's going to be interesting if they more or less sort of link it somehow or utilize him further.
I said this previously when we talked about the trailer for Transformers 1, that apparently it's going to be a trilogy and it's going to be connected to Bumblebee, which in turn is connected to Michael Bay's Transformers. So it's one big story arc. A very badly, loosely adapted story arc. I don't think Bumblebee and whatever the Beast Wars one are attached to Michael Bay's one because they're supposedly meant to be, but
really?
I don't think it's not because the new one, the Beast Wars one, and the Last Night, I think it was, both had the same big bad. Fucking, what's his name? The planet.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Oh my god.
Oh, was it the same big bad?
Yeah. What's the fuck is his name? That's going to shit me with tears.
I thought the same thing at the very start, but then I thought, nah, that's they're different guys.
No, so it's but in the Michael Bay one, the Last Night, he is it says that he's Earth. Unicron, that's it.
Okay.
So Unicron. So they say that Unicron is actually inside the Earth and he's like breaking out.
Yeah.
But in the Beast Wars one, it's like more like the comic book / animated series Unicron, where he's coming towards Earth to eat Earth.
Sure. Okay.
So that's why I don't think they're connected. But then I've heard rumors that they are connected. Blah blah blah. But yeah, so Transformers one's going to be connected, but they're going to explain how it goes from Heath Ledger's. Oh, not Heath Ledger. Fucking, I've said that so many times lately, talking about Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth voice goes into the Lord and God and Savior's Transformers voice, Optimus Prime's voice.
Alrighty. So what I had is Kang and Mephisto to be debuted or at least re-shown in Moon Knight Season 2.
Okay, because I've got one as well about Kang that the Council of Kings going forward will be played by different actors. Some that are not currently popular in the industry. A well-known high-budget actor will be cast as Kang Prime.
Yeah. So I figured there'd be something along those lines, like for different characters and whatnot. But no, I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, and I got one last one.
Yeah, you go.
So my last one is that Michael Leslie has been tapped to write the new X-Men movie. So he has written these Hunger Games, Little Drummer Girl, Assassin's Creed, Macbeth. Which Macbeth was good. Assassin's Creed, meh, and a few other ones which, not a great sort of lot of movies there, but we'll see.
Arcane Season 2 coming out in November on Netflix.
Oh yes, please.
So that's the League of Legends, and that was fucking incredible show. Hiroyuki Sanada, he's in talks to star in a Ghost of Tsushima movie, so that's a game, so an adaptation of that, which would be pretty sweet. I've never played it, but I've heard that the game is absolutely fucking incredible. Elle Fanning, so she's reportedly in negotiations to join the cast of the upcoming Predator movie, known under its working title Badlands. And the last one that I had is
I like Elle Fanning. She's good.
Yeah, she is good. She is good. Actually, sorry, I had two more. One is, which I can't remember if you'd mentioned previously, but Gundam is coming to the universe of Warhammer 40k.
I didn't hear that.
So we've got Gundam robots and whatnot that are coming into 40k in some way, shape, or form, so that you can actually use. So they're going to be Gundam style within the realm of like whatever you want to play. So the models that I seen as a quick little snippet were more or less Titanicus. So having these Gundam robots in around Titanicus robots, and there's not too much known about the lore and whatnot, but that'd be pretty damn sweet to bring them in.
Okay, we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, well let's jump into
Gaming.
Let's talk about some games here. So first off, a little bit of gaming news. So what are we? Where's my list? Where's my list? Where have I put it? What do we got? Colossal, the RPG we talked about last week. Fantastic solo play RPG. They, as of yesterday, at the time of recording this, dropped a new expansion.
Yes.
So it is the Dungeons expansion. Essentially, it adds dungeons to the world, to the lore of this colossal game. It's available for like £8 on their website, on his website. It's
Yep.
It looks like it will be a fantastic looking little game here. It's the third expansion. It looks like it's going to be good fun. I'll probably purchase it and be able to add those games to our games, kind of thing.
Oh, 100%.
Other piece of news that we've got from the gaming world is that Steamforged Games, who they make Guild Ball, God Tier, they do board games, Rivet Wars, Elden Ring, Horizon, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil. They just purchased the IP for War Machines from Privateer Press. So
this was my one bit of gaming news as well.
yeah. So it's pretty big news in the industry because War Machine's been around for a long time. But that means that they get the rights to War Machines, Hordes, Right Quest, Iron Kingdom, Formula P3 painting. So anything essentially around that War Machine world, they've got the rights to.
Yeah. Which is like, and as you said, like you've rattled off several games, like that is pretty big.
That is, it's huge for them.
Yeah, I tend to wonder what Privateer Press were thinking handing over that IP. And
I'm going to guess they're out of money.
Yeah, probably.
I'm guessing they were hoping that their Monsterpocalypse money was going to come in from whatever that company's name was, but that never fucking happened because that Kickstarter went to shit. And then they had the failed Right Quest re-release as well when they tried to turn that into a board game. But apparently they still own the IP. Privateer Press still own the IP for Monsterpocalypse. So
yeah,
and they have said that they will be doing a sort of revamp of the Monsterpocalypse IP. And they said that at the end of last year, I think, or midway through this year sometime. So we'll see if that happens now that they might have money from selling War Machine.
I mean, fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll be the ones to release our Kickstarter.
So with games, we thought we'd have a little chat about some RPGs. Because we haven't really talked about it much before on the show. No. So we both got started in RPGs at the exact same time. Friend of the show, Brendan, he constantly harassed. I used to play board games with him a lot back in the day, and he constantly harassed me. You need to play D&D. You need to play D&D. And I was like, no, because my impressions of D&D at the time were from going to the game shop and seeing the D&D groups in the back of the shop, and them all putting on their voices and stuff, and me just sitting there playing board games and TCGs and stuff, and just looking at them going, fucking nerds.
Look at us now.
Yeah, I was just like, no, it's not happening. Sorry. But then he kept harassing me, and I had a dabble with a Star Wars one once, and it just didn't click with me, kind of thing. And then eventually he's gone to me, you need to give it a go. You need maybe DM it, and you might have more fun. I'm like, oh, okay, I'll see. And then I've chucked it up on Facebook and I'm like, anyone want to play D&D? And a couple of hockey boys put their hands up, and then you put your hand up, and then we played it. We played the beginner box set, I think, from memory.
Yeah, beginner box set, and I think a couple of us got the beginner box set and just shared the rules around and whatnot.
Pretty much.
I mean, it was funny when you said we were going to talk about RPGs. I thought, you know what, fucking, I'm going to go back and actually see when that happened. It was 29 September 2019.
2019, yeah, so 5 years nearly.
Yep, 5 years. Because for me, like D&D was the first thing. Well, it was sort of the catalyst that got me further into the realm of. Yeah,
it was the marijuana of the gaming world.
It was like D&D. We played it. Well, the first one we had awesome fun. I mean, to be quite honest, we all had a box of beer whilst we were doing it.
Not much has changed in 5 years.
Not much has changed. I mean, we go by the Beginners Beer League. We started off as Beginners Beer League with the crew that we've got, and it was just awesome fun. Like we hung around a table, drank beer, role played just random shit, and it was just awesome fun. Like, and to this day,
Brock attempted to put a manticore to sleep in the first time we played, not realizing that manticore was a strong monster, and he was like a level 1 fucking wizard.
It was the first thing that we did.
It was the first thing we did.
It was like, okay, right. Everybody's introduced. Hey, this is such and such. This is the characters. Who are you? What do you do? Righto, cool. Let's leave the town. Here's a manticore. Brock, sleep.
Yeah, he was. They were meant to talk. You were meant to talk to it. You were meant to go and talk to this manticore. And no, I'm not going to talk. I'm just going to try and put it to sleep. And because you tried to put it to sleep, it turned around and nearly killed you in a one shot.
Oh, fuck! It was so fun. Like, and that's the thing. Like, I think. To have that sort of happen to start off as the experience for all of us, I think that's something we always come back to. It's something we always talk about. It's a running joke within all of our campaigns now. It's like some big battle come up and everyone will turn to me and just go, Brock, why don't you put it to sleep? Yeah. Like it's a genuine like funny thing that we keep going through, and that just got us all into D&D in some way, shape, or form, and myself got me further into the tabletop.
Start chasing that dragon.
Well. Exactly. And I mean,
I need more.
Look, there's worse things you can spend your money on.
There is. I mean, there's a reason they call it plastic crack.
Oh, exactly. Plastic crack, cardboard crack. It's just crack.
So, what is it about D&D or about just RPGs in general that you? Because we've only really played D&D really, but we've sort of looked at other games and stuff.
Yeah, because D&D, we dabbled in Starfinder. Yeah, we did a little bit of that. And I mean, I don't know.
What is it about it that you love that makes you come back?
Look, honestly, I think from start to finish, like it is just hanging out with some mates and doing something that each of you enjoy. So first and foremost, there is the social element to it. So, I mean, I'm a pretty social guy. So from that perspective, it is a lot of fun. I enjoy having a drink, so that adds to it as well. I mean, you get around,
helps a little bit.
Have a drink, and it is good fun. And I mean, the thing that keeps you coming back is, it's like, you know, when you do something, anything, and just you enjoy what you're doing, and by the end of it, you're sort of like, no, I want to do that again. Whatever it was, like if you get some sort of adrenaline, if you get that dopamine, whatever that sort of thing is. I mean, it could be something as simple as me starting off the campaign in that first one, trying to put a manticore to sleep, and then having what was straight off the bat this big, awesome battle fight type thing within the first, as we said, 15, 20 minutes of playing the game. So that in itself just hooked you in some way, shape or form. Now, as time's gone on, because as we said, started 2019, we're now 5 years down the path. I mean, I far more enjoy the role-playing element to it because it's just, I don't know, it's random bullshit. You can go off the garden path completely, but it's just sort of playing out like little scenarios, and it can be fun just to sort of take your mind off the daily grind and just do something different. It's good fun.
Yeah, I thoroughly.
How about yourself? Because I mean, for me, we a player. I've done DMing once, just for a one shot. You're more or less a forever DM. So, what's it like from that perspective? And I know that, and we've spoken like briefly about how you've played within the one shots as a player as well. I mean, what's it like being the forever DM, and how does it compare to when you got your chance to play on the other side?
I personally, I think that's why that first time when we actually tried it and I DM'd, I think that's why I liked it so much, because I'm a storyteller. I'd like to tell stories, and the fun part of DMing, even when, because we're like one session off finishing Frost of the Rhine Maiden campaign. We've done Descent to Avernus campaign for D&D, and we did.
You did a homebrew. Somewhere.
We did a homebrew, which I wrote, and we've done Rick and Morty, and we did one of the beginner books. So, like I said, I've only done one fully created the universe one, which was immensely fun to write. It was just sort of
very time consuming.
It was very time consuming, and I didn't quite have the time whilst we were doing it. And we kind of were, I think we were starting to get a little tired of D&D, so that's when we're going to go to Starfinder, and we kind of just wanted to get there, right. So we kind of chipped to it. But as a DM, I just thoroughly enjoy that storytelling aspect and the ability to be like, you morons do something, and I need to somehow change this story so that we get to a new place in the story, because you guys like to fuck things up, and that's fun for me. I thoroughly enjoy that, and
I think it's funny you say that, because there's one story which I fucking love, and I had so much fun doing it. Was I can't remember if it was the homebrew you were doing or the start of another one, but in any case, the homebrew was when we started off in the cells, wasn't it?
Yes, yes.
So we're all in individual cells. We had to get out of the cells, and that took us a little bit of time.
So it was a little sort of very simple, simple puzzle for them to do.
Yeah. It took us about 3.5 hours. But in any case, like just going through the motions.
Oh, the portal. The portal.
Yeah, the port. And then we got out of the cells and we got to a point where it was like, righto, there's a big portal, and the portal, what do you want to do? And then it went around the table, and I was playing trying to play like a sullen sort of reserved, like sit in the background type character. And everyone said, yep, we're going through the portal. And then I was the last one there, and I said, I'm not going. And literally it was like, and then you could just see the look on AJ's face. He's just like, you fucking fuck. And then I think your comment was right, and then the dwarf reaches out, grabs you by the arm, and you get taken through the portal.
I think it was something like that, or like the portal sucked you because you're so close to the portal, it sucked you in, or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But it was just like and there's things like that where you for me, I have fun kind of putting you on the spot in a way. It's like, oh, this prick's trying to fucking, okay, this is what I'm going to do to come. And even those like little interactions, I knew I was going through the portal, but to sort of go through the motions of something a little bit different, that's awesome fun.
The other thing for those of you out there in the listening world, if you haven't played an RPG before, and it's one of those things that you do have that mindset of, oh, fucking nerds, all that kind of stuff, I highly recommend giving it a go. It is...
Oh, definitely.
It's so much fun. And you don't have to... Like, I think a lot of people have that misconception from Critical Role or all this other stuff that they see of D&D, that you have to put on the voices and like, oh, I'm a hunter. I'm going to go over here. It's like, you don't have to do that. You can simply just sit there and just be like, I want my character to walk over there and punch something. Like,
and to be honest, for your first campaign or your first like couple of sessions of whatnot, it is good to do that, because
Yeah.
whilst you're doing that, you sort of learn what you're doing. You learn rules, you learn your character and whatnot. And then, and what I found is I think the first campaign or two that we did, so for a couple of years, that's more or less how we played the game.
Yeah, and I started to force you guys into it.
Yeah.
More with, I'd give out rewards to the players for them in more detail describing what they do. It wasn't actually doing the voices and stuff like that. It was more just like, I'd say, because it gets to the point where your players are like, okay, because we use miniatures on the table and stuff like that we use controls so they know where they are. And they'd kind of just move their miniature and be like, okay, I punch him or I hit him with my axe. And I'd be like, okay, I want you to describe in more detail how you hit that person with your axe. So it might be like, so he'd be like, oh, okay, I jump up in the air and I bring my axe above my head and I bring it down and slice through the front of his armor. And that's all it takes. And I'd be like, okay, here's a little bonus reward for you.
Yeah. And one of the things that I think that you did at some point, which was quite good, is your comment of, how do you want to do it?
Yeah, I stole that from Critical Role.
Really, well, there you go. Who cares? I haven't seen it on Critical Role, so it was new to me. But I mean, I thought that was a great.
So essentially, that's whenever the guys kill a monster, because I don't, you can play that they know how much health's left on the monster, but most of the people don't, and neither do we. So essentially, a monster dies, and when it's got like 2 health left, and they do a hit, instead of saying it's dead, I'd be like, how do you want to do it? So they know, oh, I've killed the monster. I'm going to like detail describe how I fucked this thing up.
Yeah. And I think that was a really good thing, like to help us get involved as well. So what I will say is having a good DM makes it better and can make it more enjoyable. And I think that, some of the things that you've brought into it and whatnot and adapted into it have been really good.
I was also one of those DMs that always said, I'm never going to do the voices. And I think after about 3 sessions, I was doing the fucking voices. Except they all end up sounding German, Southern, or Scottish.
Yeah, and that's part of the fun. Like, it's like, oh, righto, this guy again. It's like, oh, yes, I'm the cousin of Lars or something like that. And so
I am the cousin of Lars.
And it plays into it really, really well. Plays into the fun of it, and it's stupid fun between some mates, and it is a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. One thing I will say is, for people who do want to get into it, it can actually be quite daunting as well. I know that it was good having yourself just sort of say, right, who wants to go do it? I'm like, you know what, sweet as, I've actually been talking about wanting to do it for several months prior. Seeing that, and I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. And then got the book and read the book, and I'm like, oh shit, maybe I'm not in. Because you have a look at the book and you generally sit there and you're like, crap, I don't know where to start. And even as you start reading the book itself, it's really good, it's really detailed, but it doesn't say start here, then go to here, then go to here. It sort of builds a world and builds a why and builds a how.
For those
and
of
then
you,
says,
that's the book. That's the book he's talking about.
Exactly. And then from like it'll take you through the how, the why, and whatnot, and then it'll go step 1, and it'll take you through step 1, which is several bits and pieces. But then it'll fill in another gap with, hey, we're going to prepare you for step 2, and then here's step 2, rather than just going to step 2, step 3, step 4. Or at least I found it was kind of like that. YouTube is your friend. Go onto YouTube; they will show you how to create character sheets. And also, there are some pre-generated ones which you can just sort of grab and you can sort of use them as a basis to get started with. So, yes, it is daunting, but YouTube is your friend. And what I found is, as soon as I sort of read through what I needed to and went, oh, fuck, I went to the internet, guided me through, and I had a character sheet knocked out in about, I don't know, an hour for the first one that I did.
One of the biggest things with D&D as well is you don't need to know the entire book. The GM needs to know more than you, but like, I don't know half the fucking rules. But the best thing about this game is, if you don't know what a rule does and someone says something, just go, oh, yeah, roll a dice.
Exactly.
It's hard. Get 18 and you can do it.
And the other thing is that whilst it's a rule book, they're guidelines.
Yeah,
they are guidelines.
Very much so.
They give you your basis to have a character. They give you your basis for what you are trying to do and achieve. The how you do it and how you achieve it is, I mean, for anyone out there who's listening, play the rule of cool. If you can think that it's cool, if you put it forward in a really, really cool way, like generally speaking, your DM is going to say, you know what, that was pretty fucking cool. Let's work out how this is going to work. And if you've got a good DM or GM, they'll help you make it work.
Yep. So D&D, essentially, let's just talk about some of the RPGs and how they kind of work, sort of thing. So D&D essentially is a D20 system. So what will happen is you'll have a series of skills and attributes and stuff. So attributes are generally what makes a character who they are. So your strength, your agility, stuff like that. And all of your skills, which are like your acrobatics, your stealth, all that kind of stuff, they're all based off those attributes. So D&D is a D20 system. So as a DM, I would say, okay, here's some monsters and stuff. And the player might go, I'm going to try and walk past that person. So our DM will go, okay, I need a stealth check, and I'll give them a toughness number, which would be, they've got super good hearing, so it might be 15. So you'll roll a dice, and then you'll add your stealth to it. And if it's good, like you get 14 on your dice and your stealth is 3, so you add 3 to 14. That's essentially how you play D&D.
Exactly.
There is like spells and weapons and blah, 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 but that's the core of the game.
It is. And one of the things that you find is that with that being the core of the game, like rolling your dice for your target, it then, once you've nutted that out, it comes down to, right, as AJ just said, we want to get past these guys. So, okay, right, rather than me just saying I want to get past these guys, okay, so we're in the snow. I'm going to cover myself from head to toe in snow, and then I'm going to get down on the ground and I'm going to actually crawl really slowly at a slow pace. So, but then the DM might say, right, okay, cool. That's going to take you 10 minutes to get past, but it is actually easier for you to get past. But then the other guys at the table might have 2 or 3 turns to do things while you're sort of trying to creep past these guys. So it sort of expands as you get more and more sort of into the game. You become more confident in what you can do. Yep. And that's where I find more of the fun can be. So as we said, we're not just trying to get past these guys. How are we getting past these guys? And that can just add to it. So
if you want to play D&D, this is this book here, which the people in video world can see. The ones at home, it's called the Player's Handbook. You can it is pretty much all the player needs to be. In Australia, this bad boy is about $60, I think.
$60.
$60. But if you go on their website, you can get like a basic, like ripped down version of it for free on D&D Beyond, I think it is.
Yes,
So you get some of the rules.
Exactly. Sorry.
It's just the basic rules, the basic character building, so you don't get all the options and stuff like that.
And in talking D&D Beyond as well, D&D Beyond I found to actually be a really good tool for building your character as well. So as I said, building my character quite daunting. Went through the books to do it the first time. I now use D&D Beyond to build or create my characters. It takes you along the journey for you and actually prompts you and tells you what to do next, what do you want to do, et cetera, et cetera. So it's quite a handy tool.
And if you want to play a more simple version of D&D, I would recommend this bad boy, which is Old School Essentials. It's essentially, I think it's 2nd or 3rd edition of D&D. The current D&D is 5th edition. This one's based on that. It's built on the Open Game license, which Wizards of the Coast tried to murder. But it's essentially a more simplified, easier version of D&D. I've got the rules tome from Kickstarter, but if you go on their website, it's Necrotic Gnome on their website, you can actually get the basic rules for free on their website as well. And you can get there's a whole heap of different things on the website you can download and stuff for free. It's essentially the exact same game. So the way we talked about skills and all that kind of stuff, same thing. It's just a little bit simpler, a little bit of an older version. A lot of people prefer it over the newer version. So there's that option there as well.
Cool. and I suppose that kind of leads into one thing I wanted to talk about briefly, is D&D and a little bit of the history of D&D, because we're actually in the 50th year of D&D. So they're going through a bunch of celebrations with their sort of stuff now. They started off with their original RPG book. It was developed and created by two chaps, one named Gary Gygax and Dave Arneson. Both involved within the gaming world throughout their lives. Sadly, both of them have passed now, in their 60s, I believe it was. One thing I found interesting is actually when they were developing the game D&D, they were actually unable to find a publisher.
Yeah, because they're witches.
Yes. So unable to find a publisher. So what they actually did, so Gygax, he actually started the company TSR. And they published under TSR, which was the company that he created, so that they could actually get the game out there. So I thought that was pretty sweet. Like, it's a real follow your dreams and your wants type thing, just to get it out there. And I thought that was pretty sweet. And that was first published in 1974. Since then, there has been 5. We're up to 5th edition now.
New edition about to come out, I think, from memory this year.
It's like D&D 1 or something.
D&D
like
1,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So TSR, that was acquired by Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast.
Wizards of the Coast.
In 1997. They are the current publisher of D&D. They actually kept publishing as TSR until the year 2000, which coincided with their 3rd edition release. One thing that I find really interesting and awesome about 5th edition right now, because we've only played 5th edition, is how massive the world can actually be at the moment. So we've spoken about 2 or 3 books, like a basic rule set, the player's handbook, then there's things like bestiaries, there's monster manuals, and there's a couple of things like that. There's books of everything, so to speak. I think there's half a dozen of those. So I went on to a website and went D&D 5th edition just to see how many books are available. Just under 50 at the moment. which is awesome. Like, there is so much content out there to get out there, and
it's super easy to convert the older stuff to the new one as well.
Cool. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Just how D&D actually started, for how massive it is today, where it almost didn't even get off the ground.
Yeah. And it got shunned from schools and stuff by like the crazy churchy mums and shit. And yeah, it was Satan worship and blah, blah, blah. You can see it all in fucking, what's that show on Netflix?
Because through the 70s, because that was the Satanic Panic, I believe, 70s and 80s. Yeah. So it was a wild time to try and bring out a book about wizards, witches, and dragons.
Speaking, and that gives a perfect segue into the next RPG that I would like to talk about. And I've been reading a lot of this, and we're going to actually play it at some point. And that is Call of Cthulhu, the RPG. So this box that I'm holding right here, for those that can see the video, this is like 2nd edition, I think. This is like a classic one I got off Kickstarter. It's got lots of books and stuff in it, but they're up to 7th edition on, it is released by Chaosism Inc. And where are we? And it's a very interesting system. So it is actually what's called a D100 system, or a percentile system. So as opposed to D&D, which is 20 and you have a target number, you roll you to try and match it, Call of Cthulhu is very different. You have like 30 different attributes, right? And these attributes are driving, walking, swimming, blah, blah, blah. And each one will have a percentage associated with it, like 30% maybe. And what you do, you roll a D100 or a percentile dice. So they're 2 D10s. One's a 10 numbered one, and one's 1 through 10, and one's 10 through 90 kind of thing. And you roll those, and you need to roll under your percentile. And if you do, you succeed. And that's essentially what it is. But these games, they're very different to D&D. Like D&D is fantasy. This is can be played as like 1920s style era or modern day. And it's all obviously based on H.P. Lovecraft's Cthulhu mythos, which is big monsters, demons, all that kind of stuff.
Stuff.
It's a very interesting game. It's apparently super easy to die for your characters. So whereas D&D is like, I'm going to go into battle, bang, 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 and you fight and you survive because you have 5 million health and you do 25 million damage.
You're a squishy wizard.
Call of Cthulhu, you're all very squishy humans fighting giant aliens or demons. So it looks very interesting, and I recommend it for those people who are into that kind of game. For those of you that are into Warhammer 40,000, there is another game called Wrath and Glory. So Wrath and Glory is, as I said, based in the Warhammer 40k world. There's a very good starter box that I have, and the system seems very interesting. So this one is a D6 system as opposed to a D20 system. It has so essentially what will happen is when you add your skill and your attributes together, so your attribute might be 2, your skill might be 2, so you'd have 4. That's how many D6 you roll. Now what will happen is the GM will give you a target number, so 3 is the difficulty, right? So you have to roll your D6s, and one of those D6 is a different color, and that's called your Wrath dice. So what happens, you roll your dice, and everything that's a 4 or a 5 is 1 success, and a 6 is 2 successes. But then your Wrath dice, if you get a 6 on that, you get a crit, which is 2 successes still, but you also get a glory point, and something happens good for your crit. Or if you get a 1 on that Wrath dice, that's like a critical fail, and like the DM's like, I'm going to fuck you over kind of situation. And essentially those glory you get, you can use those for rerolls, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's essentially that system. And then there's like a little bit of way tweaking it and stuff like that. But it seems like a really cool system, and you get to play as Space Marines or Sisters of Battle or necromancery people and all that kind of stuff. And if you're into 40k, I recommend Wrath and Glory. Another one which we haven't played, but I have the rule book, is it only just came out, is the Marvel Multiverse role-playing game. So this one is, obviously, if you like Marvel, you'll love this game. This uses what's called the 616 system. So essentially you have 3 dice, 3d6, you roll them, and you add it up, add your stat to it, and that's your result, and you need to get target numbers. That's essentially it. It has like a Marvel dice, which is like a different colored dice, and it's 1 and 6 are essentially the same number. But if you get 1s on the other numbers, then the one on the Marvel dice becomes a 1 instead of a 6 kind of thing. It's a little confusing, but that's how it seems to work. And the character options in this one is pretty cool, because it's not so. In like D&D and a lot of RPGs, your character will start at level 1 and they'll progress as the more experience they get up, and you'll get more new abilities and stuff like that. This one is very much on the way of you pick what kind of type of battle you want. So do you want like a street level, like Defenders style one with like kind of your Daredevils characters or kind of thing? Do you want up in the sky superhero-y battle, like a bit epic? Do you want a galactic battle? Do you want a cosmic battle? That's what you kind of pick that, and then that gives you like a level of 1 to 6, I think it is, or 1 to 5, and then you can pick what type of character you want from that level. And the book comes with shit tons of pre-generated, like real world comic book characters from Marvel, or you can build your own. So it's a pretty cool system. I think we'll have to definitely give it a go one time.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's just there's just 2 other little systems that I think people should know about. The Cypher system is a generic rule set. So if you don't like any of the ones we've talked about, you don't like fantasy, you don't like superheroes, you just want to play, a role-playing game about your house down the street and your mates kind of thing. Even though you could do that in real life, but if you wanted to do it role play style, this is the type of system for you. It's just a generic system. You can apply any theme you want to it, and it is super simple for its tests. So like your D20 system, D&D, target number, etc. It's very similar to that. So essentially the GM picks a difficulty of 1 to 10. So they might be, okay, you going over there doing that thing, that's going to be a difficulty of 3. And then you as a player, what you do is you take that difficulty and you times it by 3. That gives you your target number. So if it's difficulty of 3, your target number will be 9. You roll a d20. If you get equal to or over 9, you succeed. The cool thing about this one is, though, normally most RPGs, if you have your skills and all that kind of stuff, they'll give you modifiers to your dice roll. So you'll be like, you roll 15, you add 3 to it, you add this to it, you add that to it, you add that to it, and eventually that'll give you your total roll. This one is just simply any modifiers you have, modify the difficulty. So let's say it's a difficulty of 8. No, let's say 7. So that'd be a difficulty of 7. So your target number would be 21. But you've got something that does -2 difficulty to it. So that'll reduce it to 5. So that means your target number goes from being 21 to 15.
Okay.
And that's the same with fighting and all that kind of stuff. So if you're fighting a monster, the monsters will be from 1 to 10 difficulty. You times it by 3, that's your target number.
There you go.
So it just makes it super generic with what you want to do, and it leans more into that role-playing kind of world. But yeah, so there's some RPG games and stuff like that. If you're into that kind of thing, and I recommend giving it a go, guys. Go out there,
100%.
sit with your friends, get drunk and play.
Yeah, if you're on the fence about it, just topple over to the right side of the fence and give it a go.
Okay, so let us jump to trailers. Let's get into some trailer talk. We've only got a couple of trailers now in this episode. Now we've been talking about RPGs for a fair while. One TV series that I'm very excited to see, and a movie I'm not 100% sure on. So you can decide which one to talk about first, sir.
Let's start with Venom, seeing as you're not sure. Let's talk through Venom.
Let's talk
Venom,
through Venom 3. The Last Dance. So this is the last one that Hardy's doing.
It is.
Hence why it's called The Last Dance.
Director is Kelly Marcel. This is her directional debut. However, was a writer and producer on the first 2 Venoms, starring Tom Hardy, Juno Temple. More interestingly, however, we've got Chiwetel Ejiofor and Rhys Ifans. Chiwetel portrayed Baron Mordo in the MCU.
Yes.
Rhys Ifans portrayed Dr. Connors, or Lizard, in The Amazing Spider-Man and Spider-Man's No Way Home. So I thought that was kind of interesting to see those two, especially with what happened within the trailer. But
yeah, I think the trailer shows that they're trying to just retcon that most extremely pointless fucking cameo in the MCU.
I just don't know. No, and it was funny because I stumbled across the fact that this trailer had released by the fact that people were already just trying to rip it to shreds.
Oh, that just gives me the shit so much. People need to stop doing that.
I enjoy it.
I don't. It just frustrates me.
Nah, see, I like the ideas, the thoughts, because I don't take it from the perspective of trying to tear it to shreds. I take it from the perspective of, hey, this is the route that it could be going. Because I mean that bar scene, right?
Yeah.
The bar scene where it comes through and picks up the venom and whatnot. I mean, my thought, when I first watched it, I'm kind of like, how does that work? Because that's meant to be Mordo in that area. Like, how does that work? It doesn't quite work. Then I thought about it a bit more. I'm like, if you have a look at it, it's the same bartender, same shirt.
Yep.
However, he's now on the other side of the bar.
Soccer is life.
And his hair's all razzled and whatnot. So he actually seems like a customer rather than a bartender.
No, so I'd say he's the bartender who's playing with it. It's the dude from Ted Lasso.
Oh, is that?
Soccer is life.
So my thought is that it's actually it's one of those multiversal type things where it's something that's happening within the Venom verse, similarly to what happened within the Earth 616.
Well,
however,
they only did that just so they could get symbiotes in, because essentially that's literally the only thing that happens. Like, he leaves, but the symbiote is there.
The Venom stays. Yeah, exactly. Which, I mean, is fine. But, I mean, people were sort of talking like you can't have that scene within this world because the Chiwetel's character, he can't be Baron Mordo and someone else within that same world. So people were sort of like going down the route of they can't do that because it just completely says the MCU doesn't matter, or it completely says the Sonyverse doesn't matter because you've got
it doesn't.
You're right, it doesn't. But I mean, I thought it was interesting how all those mindsets went. Where mine sort of more so went to, hey, I think that it's something that's happened within the Venomverse. It is a different symbiote, not actually Venom, that's happened there. And I thought, I mean, that's where mine went. My mind went. And from an Ivan's perspective, or Dr. Connors, I reckon it is Dr. Connors, and I reckon it might be the Dr. Connors that has come back from No Way Home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I would like to see it, because you do see him in the trailer. He's the hippie guy with the guitar in the van. I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just don't know about the trailer as a whole.
No, it's just I think they lost their plot with the second one, and I think they're just going to go. 100%. They're going to go down the Thor route.
Yeah, and I tend to agree.
Yeah, it's just the first one was great. Second one was meh. This one, I just hope they don't go down the Thor route. I hope I'm wrong. I really want to be wrong, because I really want this to be a good movie. And I kind of get the feeling, like with the military and stuff like that, that it could go down the Agent Venom route. But it won't, because they'll try and merge it into some universe and try and do something, and it's just like, no, stop, don't do that. Just make it its own thing and be happy. We don't need another Morbius fucking vulture scene.
Exactly.
But it is funny, like the "We Are Venom" part at the start. We're Venom.
Yeah, we
are Venom.
Are Venom.
we need to work. We need to talk about this. I'm going. Yeah. You take me to all the nicest places.
I thought that was sweet. Like it gives that little bit of carry through for it. It takes what worked in 1 and 2 through to this one. So long as they don't fucking overdo it and just hammer it home, because I mean, sometimes they'll find something that works and just do it to death.
Yeah, see, like Venom was good in the second one. It was just Carnage that wasn't good in the second one.
I think and me personally was put off by him straight off when he was in the trailer and had that wild hairdo. And then because they changed him.
Oh, that was in the end credit scene, the hairdo, and then they changed it. They changed it for the movie.
Yeah. And that's a shame, because Woody Harrelson is an awesome actor. So I don't know.
No, they just went the wrong way with Cassidy. That's just not the Cassidy I know from the comics.
But in any case, I mean, look, I'm keen to see how they round it out for the trilogy. I'm not 100% sold on the fucking Tyranid big bad.
The monsters from his planet. Because my planet is, my people are coming.
Look, I'll be honest. Yeah, my people are coming, and planet and whatnot. I mean, I because you've read through a lot of the comics, what is that monster? Like, where does it sort of sit?
I don't know. I only know about the symbiotes. See, I don't, unless that's a symbiote that's taken over some alien. That's the only thing I can think of, because they're all symbiotes on their planet, and like there's the king, there's like the king symbiote and all that kind of stuff, and they have like the symbiote war and all that kind of shit. So I don't know where they stand on that. I'm guessing it's just the symbiotes have taken over aliens. That's my guess on that one.
Yeah, that makes sense. Does make sense, except for the fact that it literally looks like a fucking Warhammer Tyranid.
Not gonna argue with that.
I wasn't enthralled. Actually, the one thing, the final scene with the fucking horse.
Oh yeah, the horse. That's pretty cool.
That was awesome.
I like the horse. Like, how fast can you make it go without killing it? Pretty fast.
One way to find out. We'll give it a look. Give it a look. Have fun. Go for the journey. Interesting to see how they round it out. I don't have high hopes.
No, but I mean, I'll still watch it. I'll still enjoy it. I don't want to bag on it. I think it'll still be an interesting movie. Like the second one, I didn't like it, but it still wasn't a horrible movie.
Oh, exactly. It just it didn't hit as well as the first one.
All right, the second trailer. Now this I am so badly looking forward to and cannot wait, and that is The Umbrella Academy Season 4.
Yeah, which will be the final season.
Oh God, yes! I cannot wait. It's
coming out on August 8th of this year. It's got the whole cast coming back. I mean, look, it looks fun.
It is one show that has just gotten better with each season, in my opinion. I love each season. I just rewatched it this year, season 1 through 3, and it is so good. So good.
Watched, I actually haven't finished season 3. I don't know how many episodes I've got left, but I do.
No, you're in for a treat with the end of that season.
So season 1 was fucking fantastic. Absolutely loved season 1 of this show. Season 2, I didn't like it as much as the first one, but I still enjoyed the show.
No, I can see that. Yep.
And then season 3, I just got distracted because something else came out and I got stuck into that, to be quite honest. I was neither here nor there when I was watching season 3. I just started watching something else and forgot to finish it.
That's fair enough. That can happen, very much so.
But so I definitely plan on getting it finished before this one comes out. So I'll have to smash it out over the next couple months, which should be pretty easy at the minute. I mean, look, it's the same dysfunctional family coming back. I'll make the assumption of a different timeline because of the way that these shows typically go.
Without ruining anything for you, yes. Without ruining anything.
I mean, look, for how the first 2 seasons go, you can make assumptions.
Yeah. That's but it's different to 1 and 2's. 1 and 2 is timeline jumping to stop things that they've caused. This one it's different. It's very different.
Okay, cool. I'm glad that it's different. I look forward to seeing what it is. I love the banter that this family has with each other. It is amazing chemistry that each one of the actors have with each other through the seasons. It's really, really good. It just shows that big dysfunctional family where they are literally at each other's throats from the start of the season through to the final 5 minutes of the season, and they all come together for 5 minutes and like, right, we are family, we're gonna fucking get this done. I think that's really, really well done. Chemistry is amazing. This looks like it's going to be visually sweet again. They've all been visually awesome, so to carry that through again will be awesome.
So I don't know if this one is actually based on one of the comics or not. Because season 3 was based on the last of the books, which I believe was called. Let me find. I think it was called the Hotel of the Dead or something. Hotel Oblivion, and it was also based on. It was based on 2 books. It was Hotel Oblivion and something else. So I'm not sure what this one is actually based on.
Okay.
Because the first season was based on the first lot of books, which is the Apocalypse Suite. I know, so this might be the Apocalypse Suite and Hotel Oblivion combined.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But this one's also got a couple of new cast members joining as well. You got Megan Mullally, I think. She used to be Karen in Will and Grace. Okay. You've got Nick Offerman, who everyone would know from Parks and Rec. Fun fact, Nick Offerman and Megan Mullally are married in real life. And you've got David Cross, who a lot of people would know from, he's a stand-up comedian, but he was also in like lots of sort of comedy shows. I'm just trying to find some that would... he was Tobias in... what the fuck's it called? You know,
I think I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. In what's the show called?
I tell you what, it's a show. I know that I know exactly what you're talking about. It's because it's the Never Nude guy, isn't it?
Yes,
in that show?
yes.
Is that who I'm thinking of?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the show's called. Oh my god!
Arrested Development.
Arrested Development. That's it. I could not remember for the life of me what the show was called.
I was talking with someone about this fucking show the other week, and I hit the same wall. I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck was that show called? That's a brilliant show.
Oh, such a good show. Such a good show.
The Never Nude.
Yeah. But yeah, so Umbrella Academy season 4. I cannot wait. It's going to be fucking phenomenal. All right. So we've got so back to games, I guess. Game. So we've got a listener request. So I'll let you read this one out.
Yeah. So we got a listener request from Aaron Oliver. He came through and more or less said, from a superhero video game perspective, what's your modern favorite and your childhood favorite? Aaron's was the Arkham series from a modern perspective and Marvel Nemesis from a child perspective. I had a look at the Marvel Nemesis and when this came out, and from what I could see, it came out in 2015. So when I seen that, I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I was not a child at that point in time, so that's a little more recent. I'm like, God damn it, you bastard!
Where
am I going to go with this?
So that was 9 years ago. So I was 29.
Well, there you go.
I was not a kid.
So I had a look through, and from a sorry, did I say 2015? I meant to say 2005.
Oh yeah, that's a little bit different.
2005. Yeah, 2005.
I'd still finished high school by that point.
Got to get these things right when you're reading, don't you? So I had a bit of a think from a child perspective, or from when I was younger. I struggled to actually think of a superhero-based video game that I was really, really into. But for me, it was Marvel vs. Capcom, or at least that sort of. Oh God,
I loved Marvel vs. Capcom. I've actually just built an arcade machine, which I shared the photo with on the Facebook page, on the Instagram, and it has Marvel vs. Capcom on it.
Excellent. And literally the last thing I wrote about this particular one was, I hope that it goes into the arcade machine that you are currently building.
It does.
So marvelous. That was the one for me. Like, I mean, Street Fighter and whatnot, that was awesome. And then to have like the Marvel characters come into it in some way, shape or form. They've expanded upon it over the years and whatnot, but it's just super simple, fun, and just getting your characters in there and beating the shit out of each other. And I mean, they're games that to this day I still enjoy. They've got like those types of games, not just Street Fighter, but your Tekkens and whatnot. I mean, they're an awesome game. They're getting very gory these days from some of the things that they release. But no, awesome fun. So that was my one from my youth. And from a more modern perspective, I actually had the same as Oren, being the Arkham series of video games. These games, for me, from a superhero perspective, were incredible. I mean, my favorite is Arkham Asylum, which was the first one that was released. It just hit so fucking well. The story was incredible. The gameplay was awesome. The world that they built within Arkham was awesome. What I found, or I typically find with games like these, where they do really, really well in the first one, they'll expand too much when they go to the next one, and they continue to try to one up the game, so to speak. Now, from a story perspective, each of the games hit well. From a gameplay perspective, like the benefits of the gameplay were like the things that they tried to sell you on were kind of like, we didn't need that. Like, it didn't add much to the gameplay itself. Like, a lot of the things I found that they added into them, I'm like, well, I didn't use any of that as I was going through anyways, unless you forced me to use it. Yeah. So what was the point? But even so, the things that they took from Arkham Asylum that they did well, they carried through, which was great. There is actually a total of 11 games that they've released in this sort of Arkham world, or Arkham video game world. You've got the four main ones, which are Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Origins, and Arkham Knight. But then you've got several other offshoots, which you've got mobile games, you've got some VR type games. The Suicide Squad that's recently come out on PS5 and Xbox, it's actually in the same world. So it's like can't remember which one it offshot from, but it is within that same world as well. So I found it interesting to see that there was 11 total games within there. My favorite storyline from each of the games was actually the Arkham Knight storyline. Just from how they sort of, because they utilize, the Arkham Knight, he's the main bad, so to speak, but they heavily use Scarecrow within it as well. And the backstory for Scarecrow within it was pretty sweet. I don't know if it came up in the games itself, but if you go down a little bit of a reading rabbit hole, you can find it. But more or less in one of the early games, Scarecrow gets fucked up by Killer Croc, and he comes back in this game, and he's actually surgically crafted his old like sack mask to his face.
Okay.
So now that he's got it surgically crafted, he looks dark and gritty and scary as fuck. And that just, the world building within the Arkham games was incredible. It was real, true, dark, gritty Batman. And with all the characters and whatnot, like it was really, really, really well done, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, as I've said many times on the show, I'm not a massive video game player in my current life as it is. Back in the old days, I did play a fair bit of video games, and look, I'm not going to go the typical superhero route with my OG games because there's really only sort of the one superhero from my childhood that deserves to be mentioned in the video game. And that man is, it's me, I'm Mario. Mario 64 is quite possibly the best video game ever made.
That is an incredible game.
And the 64 was a fucking game changer when that thing came out. That came out when I was in primary school. And Mario and Turok were the first games I got on it. And Mario is just a phenomenal game, and they've made a couple of good Marios since then as well, but nothing's ever compared to the 64 version. No. As for modern, or even back in, actually, I can even go earlier than Mario 64. And if you want to talk about a real fucking superhero on a video game console, that's Alex the Kid. Mate, you didn't punch the villains. You played paper, rock, scissors against the motherfuckers. That's a real hero.
Bloody hell.
And it also came built in on the Sega. Or for our American friends, Sega. But yeah, for modern times, like I don't really play video games much that often. Modern wise, like I haven't played the Arkham series at all. I think I might have played like 2 seconds of one of the games, maybe.
Yeah, okay.
I have them.
In all honesty, if you were going to go and play a game, I would highly recommend grabbing Arkham Asylum and running through it.
I'm pretty sure I actually have it on awesome. PlayStation. I'm pretty sure I bought it.
Go play it.
I bought it because it was like $2.
Yeah.
But modern. Let's go modern. It's not modern now, but it's like modern console, like Master Chief, Halo games. The Halo games have always been phenomenal. I've loved every single one of them that I've played. I played up till ODST, I think. I haven't played any after that. But yeah, they're great games. They're phenomenal games. I don't think I've really ever played anything else sort of superhero-y in a long time.
Well, another superhero sort of game franchise that I'd recommend is the Spider-Man game. So I've played Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. First one follows along with Peter Parker. The second one follows Miles Morales. There is now a third game out, but it is on PS5, and I do not have a PS5, but it's tempting to get one when there's a few games out there that I really do want to play.
It's on PC too.
Yeah, this PC ain't running. And look, those games themselves, when the first Spider-Man came out...
I'm sorry, don't call it the first Spider-Man game. There's been many Spider-Man games before that. And the 1990 Spider-Man game on PlayStation 1 was fucking phenomenal.
Yes, I know that there are a lot of other ones, but I'm talking modern, you bastard. Yeah, so of these three that have come out, they are awesome gameplay, web slinging through the city. The stories within them as well, they are really, really good. One thing I find these days with games is that I get far more drawn into the story that's behind the games rather than just the gameplay. So I need to find that good balance between the two. I genuinely think if I was to pick up like a Call of Duty these days, I'd play the campaign. If it was an enjoyable story through the campaign, sweet. I wouldn't even bother with the multiplayer. I just don't.
Oh no, man! You don't touch. I got an Oculus headset, and there's like a Fortnite clone on the Oculus that you play, and I went and played a multiplayer game, and mate, the way people talk to each other makes me feel bad for humanity.
Oh wow!
And like I would just avoid multiplayer video games in general, just for the sickening culture that goes along with those people that talk on that.
Oh God, yeah. Look, and to that, like, I just don't think I'd enjoy it. And the Call of Duty, like the Call of Duty,
it doesn't match the old Halo multiplayer days.
No, that was always harmless fun.
Listen to us old folks. Back in my day when we played Halo multiplayer.
Oh, Halo multiplayer, and it was a fucking LAN party. You'd go around to someone's house, someone would bring along the little fucking router or switch, and you'd have cables running fucking everywhere with 18 Xboxes through the fucking house.
We used to do that with Warcraft 2. Everyone would take their computer around, you plug them all in, and you play like a LAN party Warcraft 2 thing.
Just watch the fucking house trip from all the power. But yeah, look, awesome fun. Like, obviously with the internet, that's far more widespread and far more readily available these days. But yeah, that's for me. Arkham series, get on board it. If you haven't already, love it.
Excellent.
Me personally, I've actually got a leg sleeve, which more or less pulls from the characters and some of the scenes and the likes from the video games.
Nice. All right. Last thing for this episode was do a quick recap on where we are with Neon Genesis. As you've said, you've had some time. You've watched them.
I have. So I have watched
last week we talked about
3.
1, and I guess we'll talk about 2 and 3 now.
Yep. So I finished 2 and 3. So after watching since watch 2 and 3, I've actually started number 4. The numbering, as you've said a few times, is fucking wild. Like, it's okay. So you've got
1.11, 2.22, 3.33.
When we get to 4, it gets even better. 3 plus 1.
Yep.
No, sorry, 3.0 plus 1.0. You're like, oh, fucking whoever had this. Fuck me. Anywho.
But that's only Western. It's only Western that they're named like that. They're named 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, fucking
in Japan.
Because when I seen on there the 3 plus 1, I'm like, oh, they must have done like a recap, like join thing or so. I wonder what the fuck that is. I press play. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Anywho, so I've watched them. I found that of the 3, my favorite was number 2. That was definitely my favorite one. I found that it had the best drive of the story, like within, and it was able to complement interactions between other characters as they sort of continued to develop either from the first one or within the second.
Yeah, so I think last week I gave the wrong information as well. I think last week I said that the first one recaps the series. I'm pretty sure it's the first 2 that recap the series.
Okay.
Because the second one ends with old mate playing the piano and whatnot, doesn't it?
No, that's a third one.
No, because the third one starts off with Oscar finding Shinji.
The piano was in the third one. The second one ends with the third impact.
Yeah, that's what I'm. So the other male pilot, the guy that plays the piano.
Yeah, you see him on the moon.
Yeah. So that's essentially the first. That's the series is the first 2 movies. Okay. I said it was the first movie, because the third movie is 100% original, brand new.
Right. Okay. Because I found that even if you compare like the first one and the second one, the first one, as I said last week, just seemed like a whole bunch of shit fucking just jammed and thrown into just make a movie. Whereas the second one didn't feel like that. It felt far more of picking up from a point and carrying the story through to the final point of that sort of.
Well, essentially, I think what's happened there, because the first one is pretty much verbatim the series, plus introducing Old Love with the Glasses. The second one is when they started to steer off from the original series into that new ending, because that's not how the original series ends. So I think that's why that one felt better, because they are essentially telling a new story with old material.
Yeah, okay. One thing, because I do know you said that the creator or producer, director, whoever, I can't remember his name, but he was more or less losing interest as he was doing this. So he wanted to redo this because he didn't get the ending that he wanted. So he was doing these ones, but then he lost interest at some point when doing these. I think that you really start to notice that in number 2. Now, the reason I say that is because you can sort of see where they've spent a little bit more money on the animation compared to other points. Like there are so many points in this, in number 2 and in number 3, where you'll get the big wide pan shot, which is just slowly moving across. So there's nothing visually happening within the cartoon shot. It's just voiceover.
Well, no, that's a very Neon Genesis thing.
It is?
Yeah, they do that a lot of just holding the shot, and then you might see some waves moving. And they'll just hold that one shot, and like even the people in the shot don't move, and it's just someone talking over the top. It's a very Neon Genesis thing.
Yeah, okay. Because I know that even like from an anime perspective, it is used so that they can spend budget elsewhere and they can still get like that build up of the story and whatnot.
Well, generally the way anime works is they have artists that do the keyframe, which is like the big sort of money shot sort of frame. And then they'll do every so often they'll do keyframes, and then they ship them off to another department or even another business in another country to do the in-betweens.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
So that's why sometimes you'll get Goku with a fucking weird face and shit like that in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, completely get it. Completely understand why it's done. I just felt that it was fucking hammered in these two, which sounds like it's just a Neon Genesis thing. Yeah,
wait till 4, mate. You'll get some more in 4. Don't worry about that.
Jesus
Birds chirping and shit. Yeah, it's a very Neon Genesis reflecting on your thoughts kind of thing.
Fair enough. I loved the scene where Eva 1 gets taken over by his dad when he's out there fighting the angel Eva that's got Asuka in it.
Yep.
I think it's Asuka.
Oscar.
I thought that scene was fucking awesome. The way that that was like pure emotionally charged. So you've seen like how much of the budget went into that bit of the scene, because it was fucking phenomenal. Like so emotionally raw. With him not wanting to do it, having to do it, Oscar getting fucked up when she's in it and whatnot. That was awesome. And then the final scene where the third impact sort of occurs, I found it was a little drawn out, but the scene itself, it had a really, really good tone to it as it was like sort of rounding out the movie. I thought that was really, really well done. And what I did find is that if I didn't know there was already a third movie, I would have probably thought that was the end of the series. So knowing that there was a third one, I was kind of like, I wonder where they're going to pick up with this to sort of continue the story going. I didn't really like where it went personally, just more or less a time jump. What was it, 14, 15 years, so that they could just pick up and continue on with what was going on.
And the animation changed a little bit as well. The advent of CGI in anime came along in between these two movies.
You could definitely
to the detriment of the fourth movie. Just you fucking wait.
Fair enough. You definitely noticed that. I thought it was. Personally, I thought it was used well.
It's used really well in this, but you'll find in the fourth one when they start to use it for the Avas.
Yeah,
you kind of like, no, that didn't need to be CG. Like, animate that motherfucker.
Yeah, okay. The other thing that was sort of, didn't throw me, but I was kind of like, about was as you said, the guy on the moon. I think he's Ava 6 pilot as they were building Ava 6. His character was kind of like, why?
Oh, no, it's kind of one of those things, this show. It's hard because it all leads somewhere, but a lot of the things don't get explained until they've led to that point.
Yeah.
And then some things, even after they are explained, you still sit there and go,
like literally, yeah. And that was how I felt for this guy, because I mean, it gets to the end, and right before his head pops up, and not to take away from the scene where his head does get popped off, like that was a really, really well done scene. But like talking to him. Like he's like, oh, I'm Ava number 1 and I'm Angel number 1 and I'm Angel number 13. Boom. You're like, hang on, what? you're just going to spring that on me and then blow his head off? What? And I don't know. I think that could have been built in better. Like if you knew that he was Angel number 1 like earlier, if that was explained a little differently, that could have had a bit more substance to it. But yeah, I kind of felt like, well, you're trying to say that he's number 1 and number 13. So what are you saying, that that's the Angels done and now we're going into another realm of things occurring? Or is it they're still going to be angels and he's going to come back as a fucking another one with a headless angel or some shit? I don't know. Like it was interesting to see that. It's sort of, to me, it felt like putting a full stop behind the Angels, but I feel like that's not going to happen because there's still the 4th movie. I mean, I think there might be a 5th one, or a 5th one in the works. No, there isn't. Yeah. So even the 4th one, I'm sure that my questions will be answered through the 4th one. But yeah, it was interesting. Oh, well, there you go. No, I'm sure that my questions won't be fucking answered.
Oh, they will, but you'll have new questions.
But look, it's one of those interesting things where, if you look at the 3 movies, as I said, I enjoyed number 2 the most. But as a set of 3 movies together, I've enjoyed them so far together as their own piece.
It's one big movie, really.
Yeah.
That just was released over this period of like 10 years.
I think if I had have seen the first one when it got released, I don't think I would have watched the second one.
Okay.
Because the first one to me was it was too much of as I said, just a thrown together something. And then when the second one came out, I would have been like, oh, well, fuck. First one, meh, I'm not going to bother.
Well, see, I think one of the big things about the first one is it's a very Japanese, a very anime thing to make OVA movies. So essentially what they do is they grab the series and they recut it and release it as a movie in theaters to make more money.
Yep.
And they do that in Japan all the time.
Sure.
And essentially that's pretty much, well, that's what the first movie of the original series was.
Yeah, okay.
It was just the series cut together as a movie. And essentially that's pretty much what this one was. The first one of this was, it was them doing that so that they could then splinter off to remake it.
Yeah. Which makes sense. And I'm also sort of talking from the perspective of someone who has not watched any Neon Genesis.
It was very much for fans.
Exactly. So, but I think to my benefit, because they're all out and released, and I was able to sort of watch the first one and then go more or less straight into the second one. I was kind of like, hey, cool. Okay, I see what they've done in the first one now. I like the second one. Okay, cool. I see what's going on. To an extent, as much of an extent as you can within this Neon Genesis world. And therefore, with the trilogy, or the 4th one as well now, I enjoyed it as a whole. And I would actually recommend it to people as well to watch, because it's got some amazing animation within it. And as I said, just some awesome emotionally charged pieces in it, which were really, really sweet to watch. And like genuine, oh fuck moments as you're watching it.
It's sweet. It's a very particular type of anime. Like it's not for those, like if you like big mecha anime like Gundam, etc., like that, it is and it isn't for you, because it's it's got big mechas in it, but it's more of a character story. It's more of a story anime. So it's more of like a Blue Harvest style, like, or not nowhere near Blue Harvest. Blue Harvest is about a fucking serial killer, but it's more along that vein of you're there for the story, and you're going to get lots of those long drawn out moments that animes are very famous for and stuff like that. So I'd recommend it, but you need to know what it is kind of going in.
Yeah.
All right. Well, just before we head, what's on your table?
That's my thoughts on Neon Genesis.
All right. Well, what's on your table, sir?
Look, the same stuff as last time.
That's fair. That's fair.
It was funny because before Shan went into labour, I was spending a bit of time down here just sort of ticking through a little bit of the paint stuff and whatnot. And I got halfway through painting Thor, and it was Brock. I think we need to go to the hospital. I'm like, okay, on my way up.
Yep.
So no, none of my stuff has moved just yet. If I shift out of the way, you might be able to see it on the table still.
Oh, yep. There it is right there. Look at that. Hasn't moved. Beautiful.
Hasn't moved. Probably won't move for a little while yet. At some point in time, I'll get back into it and finish it up.
I've just been doing writing. I played another round of Colossal after we chatted last week on the weekend. Had another round. Wrote another chapter in the book. What did my character do? I think last week I said it was a girl was my main character, but there's a guy. His name's Leo. The tower is a girl that he had. Like he's rook person. Her name's Candy.
Oh yeah.
This week they went to a cave. They fight they find an abandoned city. They fight a giant rook in there. They got told to go in the cave by a sort of traveling guy who's building robots, and like no one in the world knows what robots are, so he's building robots, and he's like they're not sure if they could trust him or not, whether he's going to like try and steal candy or something like that. That's kind of where it got to.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. I'm pretty keen to get that started actually and start building up a world.
Yes, it's good fun. At some point, our worlds could collide. Oh,
well, especially seeing as they've now got co-op with them.
They do. We're definitely gonna have to have a crack at that.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, I guess that's it.
Sweet.
Thanks for listening, guys. Really appreciate it. Thank you to all those new listeners that we've got out there. We are nearly at 1,000 listens, 1,000 downloads for all our episodes and whatnot. So thank you very much, everyone. And we'll see you next week, I guess. You can check us out on Spotify, Apple Music, and wherever all good podcasts are listened to. On YouTube, you can check out the latest episodes just after the podcast is uploaded.
Follow along the journey on our Facebook and Instagram. You follow me, Frantic Brock, on Instagram, and you can follow AJ, Weird Art by AJ.
See ya.